Hi everyone, Stepan here. Let me just fix whatever's going on with my screen. So Chrome had an update. I'm sorry about that, so I'm gonna have to fix the thing. Okay, this should be okay. Okay, let's not waste too much time. Again, sorry about this. Just trying to fix it so that it looks okay. Okay, D5. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to... Sorry, something's been going on in Chrome. It's still no good. Wait. I'm gonna waste some time and fix it. Okay, should be okay now. Okay, yeah, once again, sorry for this. Let's go knight f6. My opponent is 2353 and they've wasted a minute of my time, which is no good. Let's go c6. If you can hear some background noises, Lucia is making fritule. That probably doesn't mean anything to you, but it's a type of Croatian donut we eat at Christmas time, or some people eat. I don't, because I don't eat sugar, but I love them. I would eat 100 of them. If you don't know what fritule are, or you've never heard of them, you need to Google it. It's like a small donut. You usually eat it either with honey and cinnamon, or just castor sugar, or recently they started eating them with chocolate too. Not a big fan of that. I like them plain. Okay, so we have a standard Catalan position, but my bishop is outside of the pawn chain, so my position is perfectly reasonable. My bishop is on f5, which is a huge improvement compared to the normal closed Catalan. I hope you're all having great pre-holidays, and if you don't have holidays this time of year, I hope you're doing well. I'm trying to get to 2400. 2321 is my rating so far, so about 80 points to go. Now knight h4 is reasonable, so is knight d2. He wants to play e4. The reason I didn't develop my knight from b8 yet is because I wanted to wait for him to go e4, e5, in which case this knight has the d7 square and I can undermine the center with c5 and this knight could go to c6. Okay, now I am going to go knight d7 because I don't have any more useful moves. At this point, knight h4 doesn't come with tempo. Rook c1 is strange. I don't know rook c1. I don't know if I should go a5 or rook e8. I like a5, so I'm gonna go a5, trying to claim some space on the queen side. Not that I have enough pressure to go a4, but I may be able to go b5. Later on, c5 would close down the center. That would be extremely anti-positional, and it would allow rook e8, bishop f8, e5 in the future, if he isn't careful. I also could have considered knight e4 instead of a5, because that prevents e4. Although e4 is already prevented, so not a big deal. Now this is interesting. So he basically has to play f4 if I take, or start smashing my center with e4, or he has to move the knight to defend. So takes, pawn takes, knight d7. Let's say f4. I could then take on c4, or he takes on d5 first. So knight takes, pawn takes, knight d7, cd5, let's say cd5. I like that position. I'm gonna do that. My knight doesn't really have a bright future. If he goes e4, I'm gonna take on c4. If he goes f4, I'm gonna take on c4. And he's going to have 3 isolated pawns. So I'm guessing he should take on d5. This bishop is now blocked. My bishops are better than his. Usually you don't take on e5, but in this particular case, with the 2 bishops being sort of bad, because of these 2 points, I feel like that's justifiable. Also, on e4, I can still take on c4. Yeah, so he takes. That's fine. That's probably correct. I take with the c pawn, of course. Now he may consider knight b5, knight d6 to open the bishop up. At which point I probably go queen b6. Okay. I'm looking at d4, queen d4, bishop c5, but I'm not convinced. I'm also looking at knight c5, where if the d5 pawn is taken, I can play knight d3. And then if d6, I'm not sure where my bishop goes. So knight c5, ed5, knight d3, d6, knight b2, d7, knight d1, ed8 equals queen, and I'm a pawn down. Knight c5, ed5, knight d3, d6, bishop g5, f4, knight b2 is no good either. So I may consider knight c5, and then if ed5, simply ed5, and then if that's taken, knight d3. Okay, I'm gonna try that. I'm trying to get to the d3 square because the bishop is loose and the queen is a tempo gain after that. And if knight takes d5, then knight d3, knight e7 check, queen e7 wins the exchange. And if he doesn't do anything, I go d4. So I think he should take on d5. There's a ton of calculation involved with knight d3, knight b2, but I don't think I can go knight d3 straight away, so I'm planning just to recapture on d5 and then threaten knight d3. Oh, but I have queen b6 as well. So takes knight d3, d6, bishop g5, f4, queen b6. Winning. Because I have knight f2 or queen f2 mate. Okay, so ed5, knight d3, d6, bishop f4, sorry, bishop g5, f4, queen b6 check, game over. So he cannot take, because I go knight d3. I didn't see queen b6 check. So ed5, knight d3, d6, bishop g5. If not f4, then I just win. If f4, then queen b6 and I win. Okay. So he cannot go bishop f1 because I just take the pawn on e4. If he goes rook e3, I go d4, winning. Okay. Oh, this smells so good. I mean, if you were in my house now, you'd be going crazy. Something smells really nice. I know what it is, and I don't eat it, which is the painful part. This is a very common maneuver in the reverse London, where you go knight d7, knight c5, knight d3, and it usually wins. In this case, he played rook c1, which makes it even worse, because the bishop's undefended, and the queen is still on d1. So I'm not really sure what he does. So I'm threatening to take a pawn. I'm also threatening to go knight d3. And I'm threatening d4. And he cannot take on d5. That much we know. So if I go d4, where does the knight go? If it goes to b1, I can go d3. Let's just look at taking everything. So takes, knight takes, bishop takes, rook takes. Doesn't seem to give me anything. So the knight probably goes to b5 and then to d6. So d4, knight b5, d3, rook d2, and then I take on e4. Okay, I'm going for it. This has to be correct. I'm blocking both his bishops. His bishops are horrible pieces at the moment. Okay, d3. he mustn't move to the d file. Because I have... Ooh, can I not take on e4? I'm looking at queen b6, but he has bishop d4 at some point. So let's say queen b6, a4, bishop g5. How does that look? Queen b6, if knight d6, I go bishop g5. Okay, I'm going queen b6, that seems interesting. I don't want to take because he takes rook d3. This way I gain a tempo on the knight. I'm assuming a4, but then bishop g5 wins the exchange because on f4 I have knight takes b3, preventing bishop d4. The reason I wanted to move my queen away is so that I can get my rooks to d8 and c8. My rooks aren't doing anything, his rooks are very active. So for the moment I have bad rooks, he has bad bishops. And my pawn on d3 is extremely useful. My threat is bishop g5. So he may consider playing something like... Wow, really? Okay. So what happens on bishop g5? He plays knight c4 and I just go queen a7. So bishop g5, knight c4, queen a7, winning the exchange. I'm gonna do that. Now I don't even have to take on b3 because the bishop doesn't have d4 anyway. But he has bishop d4 now. But on bishop d4, I may be able to just go rook c8. No, I'm not able to go rook c8. This was a blunder. Bishop g5 was a blunder. He has bishop d4. Oh, he didn't play bishop d4. Why didn't he play bishop d4? He should have played bishop d4. Okay, I'm just gonna take that for now. Now I need to unpin myself. So bishop d4 is the threat. How do I get rid of that pin? Maybe simply Queen A7 followed by B6. That makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, Queen A7, B6. Defense. And he won't have time for A3, B4 because I can... Okay, he wants the D pawn. Can I not just take on E4 at some point? See, I'm not sure I should go B6 now, because there's no point to it. If I go b5, he goes rook d4. That seems like a good trade for me, because I open up my queen on the 7th rank, and he doesn't have bishop d4. If he moves the rook anywhere else, I just take on e4. Okay, so I'm going b5. Wait, if knight takes, am I stupid? I am stupid, the knight could take. Okay, b5, knight takes, queen b6. He does something. I need to open up my bishop. Okay, I'm going rook b8 and b5. That may seem strange, but I want to go b5. Okay, this I'm happy with, because now I get to play b5. Do I want to play b5 now? I probably do. Let's get rid of that rook. Maybe knight b5 works anyway. I don't think it does though, because I can take on d3. I don't know if Queen c5 is good, but for the moment, unless he moves the knight, he doesn't have too much activity. And I'm not sure how the rook moves to defend e5, and if the rook doesn't move, then f4 has to be played to defend e5, and if f4 is played, the rook is pinned. Okay, this was my plan. Now I'm pinning the rook. So now let's get our pieces to the d file. Now I want to go f6, undermine the knight. Okay, unpinning, that's wise. I'm looking at rook b6, but I'm kind of afraid of knight b7 now. Okay, I'm gonna go rook d7. Oh, but then knight b7. So, okay, wait. Rook d7, knight b7, knight d4, knight c5, knight d3, rook d3, knight d3 seems okay. Okay, that seems to work. I want to get my rook to c7, and I want to go rook c2 check or queen c2 check. It's very hard to play around the knight on d6. It's an octopus knight. Okay, I got in rook c7. That makes me happy. Now I'm threatening to infiltrate, but I'm gonna have to move my bishop to g6 to prevent any back rank tricks. Queen c2 threatens to win the game on the spot, so he has to do something. Again, sorry for the kitchen noises. Lucia is cooking. Okay. On queen c2 he has rook d2. I'm looking at rook d8, followed by queen c2, rook d2, and bishop takes pawn, but then knight takes. So it doesn't seem to work. I'm thinking of weakening his e-pawn. So going g5, and then if he takes, I take on e5. So I'm gonna do that. I need to give myself another infiltration point. And I need to give my king some luft. And I need to play against f5. And I need to get rid of that knight, so g5 makes sense to me. It may be a very weakening move, and it surely is. But still, it achieves something. Where does the rook go if I take? I don't know. So I'm gonna take. My queen has the f4 square. And it has c5. Now, arguably getting rid of this pawn wasn't a good idea, because the bishop opens up. But if I don't see anything concrete, any concrete downside, then I'll just take a pawn. Now, knight b5 doesn't work because I just take it. Ah no, I don't take it because of rook d8 check. Okay, I take it with the queen. That does work. I don't take with the rook, I take with the queen. I don't take with the queen because of takes, takes, and rook d8 mate. knight b5 works. I should not have taken that pawn. I don't think there's a way out of this. So I'm going to resign. Yeah, there was no way to save myself, I feel. I shouldn't have taken that pawn. Very good game by my opponent. Congratulations to him. Let's go from the start. Okay, this is all normal. Okay, knight c5. Wait, he could have gone ed5? How? And then queen e2? Wow. What? Why not take? White is better? Okay. This is the variation I was looking at. If he goes d6, I have bishop g5. Oh, knight b2 works? I was thinking bishop g5. Because he doesn't have f4, I just have queen b6 and that's checkmate. So instead I take on b2, he takes on e7. Ah, and I play queen e7. How does my knight get out? What if he goes queen d2? Yeah, then knight back to d3. Okay. Knight e4 did work. Okay. I was thinking bishop d4 and I couldn't see what to do against this. So I guess this is just a draw. Okay. Yeah, rook b8 was bad. Rook b6 did work. I wanted to go rook b6, rook c6, but I decided for this. Queen e2. Yeah, g5 is just bad. I should not have taken that pawn. This is game over. Yeah, okay. Good game from my opponent. Congratulations to him. Really nice play. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye bye.